getting something done is hard enough. If you get something done, you're in the top 1% of people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's not being arrogant. It's just a fact.
And I guess, there's these platforms like, well, whether it's crowdfunding platforms or whether it's a source of distribution for your film on streaming. But one of the other things that I find interesting too, and we talked about this, I think pre the call here today, was just the amount that's involved in the marketing, so that you can get those eyeballs. Because if you're someone who has a reach of 100 people, let's say, just to use an extremely low number, and you get 10 people to watch it, and it's on a great platform. It doesn't make a difference if it's on a great platform, whether it's for crowdfunding or for actual viewing, if you can't get the views. So what's been your marketing process to kind of start to generate some traffic and get eyeballs on it?
So one thing that's important for the viewer, especially if talking to somebody who wants to make their first film, and there's a guy who's actually in finance called Joshua Keenan, American guy. And one of the things he was saying in an interview is, don't despise small beginnings. That was for savings, but don't despise small beginnings. I think it's for anything. When I launched my social media, I had 0 followers for the film. I built it slowly. I got in touch with people in the fan footage or etc. groups on Facebook, on Instagram. TikTok is a bit more difficult because it's a bit more instantaneous. So it's hard for people to go back and see what was before. Whilst on Facebook, they can go and see your previous post. On Instagram, they can go and see your previous post, etc. Mm-hmm. So when somebody's interested and they want to learn more, they can learn more and go and see more stuff. And it's really getting a connection with people and being approachable, not saying I'm a star, whatever, that's not what I'm saying at all, but being approachable in the sense that sometimes I've had viewers, I've posted in a group, I say, here's the trailer, here's the films available for free on YouTube. And maybe 5 days later, I get somebody ping me a message and ask me a question about the film. What did I mean at this stage? What is that what I meant, etc. And I'm fine answering those questions. I've had messages saying your film was a part of steaming done. I said, well, fine. You just spent 5 minutes of your life saying that to an indie filmmaker. Congratulations. It has no impact on me, and it shouldn't have any impact on anybody. I mean, getting something done is hard enough. If you get something done, you're in the top 1% of people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's not being arrogant. It's just a fact. If you do something, you are going to be exposed to people who like it. You are going to be exposed to people who hate it. You are going to be exposed to people who are friendly. You're going to be exposed to people who are vicious. It's the name of the game. If you don't want to be exposed to that, don't play. If you can't stand the heat in the kitchen, don't be a cook.
Right on, right on. Well, and with Ghost Webcam now being out there, and obviously, like you just alluded to, that conversation, that dialogue, and speaking more to the positive side of that kind of happening now, because people say, hey, this is a guy that does something with his ideas, that puts them out into the world. So what has that opened, if any, in terms of doors? Does it look like doors and opportunities are kind of opening that you can speak to now, as far as the next film is concerned, as far as where the budget levels go, all of that stuff? Anything there?
So yes, there is. For me, it's learning. I've learned a lot in the process. I've learned a lot about what I can do, what I cannot do at this stage and in this budget level. I've met a lot of people. I've contacted people for reviews. One of them, Jim at Voices from the Balcony, and I was terrified. Hey, Jim, if you're listening. I was terrified of sending him the film to review, because I know when he likes something, he likes it. When he hates it, he really hates it. I don't want to be torn to shreds, etc. It came back. The movie was, he came up with the strong points and the weaker points in the film, so that was great. So that's somebody I reached out directly. But I've had reviews come out of absolutely no whatsoever. And people saying to me, "Hey, keep us posted on what you do next time." It's again, it's a relatively niche community in the horror film community, and people, you know, I know one guy on Facebook I'm friends with. I think he watches 5 films a day, and he's passionate about it. And there's a lot of people who are really passionate about it and who want to see more content. So you build in your viewership, you build in your fan base, so to speak, and you can go forward and say to people, "Hey, the next film will be available in what's fall 2023, early 2024, whatever your release date is." You do your Facebook page, you get your people connected to the Facebook page, keep them updated on what's happening. I mean, if I was to do a crowdfunding, I could possibly get a few people interested in to the project to do the next one. I wish we had in Canada the same system they're starting to have in the US, which is equity crowdfunding. My belief is it does not unfortunately exist here, where when you actually have a bit more experience, etc., you can say to people, "Here's a team, there's this director, this actor, blah blah blah. Here's the budget range. Here's the expected ROI," and it's very hard. It's very hard you cannot make any promises of return on this investment. But I wish we had those platforms available here to help do things. I've had people come up to me and say, "Well, I might be able to put together X amount of cash on your next project, depending on script, depending on, etc." There are people around who know that within a lower 5-figure US budget, you can recoup your money on platforms.
Right.
My aim in the future would be as much as possible to keep as much as possible of the intellectual property, the rights to the films I make in the future, and build a catalog of films.
As you build your fan base, you've got a larger pool of people that may support your next film, which means a bigger budget. If you're working with a distributor, you've got and they're making more revenue on project one than they expected. They're going to want to give you more maybe for project two. Those are the avenues I see. Is that kind of what you do as well, or is there more to it than that?
It is an option. I've got a few ideas, a few films I'm lined up in the future. One is a very small budget, but again, where I'll be able to say things with a lot of freedom. The other one is a lot more entertaining, which is going to be with a slightly bigger crew of people, etc. A lot more commercial in a sense, but again, very controllable. I would love tomorrow to have Jason Blum, PA, give me a call and say, "Hey, do you want to do the next Conjuring or something?" But right now, I can do my own version of Haunted House or whatever. I'm not going to say what the next one is on YouTube. Whatever variation of theme you can do. I like the freedom of indie filmmaking. It's got constraints. You got less money, less time, etc. But you can do what you want. So that's the aim. I would like, even when you see people like good old Charles Band, who used to have Full Moon Feature, well, still has Full Moon Features in the 90s, etc. Actually built a whole studio in the sense of a physical studio in Romania. He was huge. And he's still going. I mean, he's still going, man. He's going, doing the conventions. He's selling the little toys, the figurines of whatever film. He's still selling the DVDs. He's got his own streaming platform, and he more or less does what he wants within his budget range, within his niche. I'd be happy to be able to build my own. Which way am I? Wrong way.
Right there, yeah.
and build my own label. As an indie filmmaker, I think you've got to keep in mind, and it is what it is. If you're writing a book, it's going to cost you a laptop and an internet connection.
Well, and I think maybe when you're earlier in the tooth on this stuff, you don't really appreciate the statements that I've heard repeatedly in the film industry over the years from filmmakers, writers, just how, you know, like the rationale they have for wanting to stay in the smaller indie pocket in some cases, because yeah, you pay your bills quite well in the studio system if you can get, you know, in on that, but from a creative standpoint, like you said off the top here, you the more money other people are shoveling into your project, the more control they're going to want to have and take.
Makes
And
sense.
and when you can really tell the story that you want to tell, put forward the ideas that are authentic from the get-go, they're not rehashed for marketing pieces or merchandising, or but you get that power in that independent pocket where it can be a little harder to get the money together, and but you still get to grow in that. You still get to you know, go from, you know, pocket change to maybe something quite a bit more substantial that you still have control of if you're in that pocket and that's what you're passionate about. So but you really, I'm just affirming, I guess, that you really have to accept the trade-off in many cases if you're going to shoot for that big budget stuff, compared to your passion for telling your story, the one you want to tell. That's something you have to recognize. It's a
Yeah, it
cost.
is.
You know, it's a cost.
It is tough in the indie world. It is tough.
Mhm.
Hundreds of films, if not, I think it's a figure I was given, like 1,000 a month come out globally.
Mhm.
Uh, I mean, finding your niche, even if you're finding your niche on YouTube, and you can make a living from what you like to do, from what
Yeah.
you enjoy doing, um, and and you're saying what you want to say, and you're showing what you want to show. I mean, that beats a lot of people who are unhappy in their daily jobs.
Mhm.
Uh, I'm not saying it's easy. In no way, shape, or form is it easy. I mean, the numbers of time in my life I thought, oh, I should have been an accountant.
Yeah.
Um, I probably would have been financially more secure, but I have been happier. Yeah.
Mhm.